Well, to start with, September was really impressive. I mean, it was fun to watch. Anytime you get that infusion of energy from a young player, especially somebody like Carter that's from there and, is a big hometown hero, so to speak, that was great. But Carter, he's a baseball rat, and I think he can help us in a lot of ways. He's improved a lot behind the plate over the last few years with Bosky and Hoove. Obviously, that'll continue with Hoove. I think he's a sponge when it comes to the game calling, all those kinds of things, the processes we have in place with Brian and those guys. That's going to be great for him to continue to learn, and from Salvi. Because when he first came up, he wasn't catching much, so he was around Maley and Salvi and understanding what they did day to day. But I mean, we have high hopes for him, obviously, to be a big part of what we do, whether that's behind the plate or offensively. And as far as playing time, I think in a perfect world, Salvi probably, I don't know an exact number, but we need to utilize his bat as much as his catching. So hopefully, to be able to keep him fresh, Carter can handle a decent workload.
When you had Farid as well as Salvi, that was a nice, it was almost 50-50 by the time that left. Do you hope that one day Carter can get to the point? Does he have to work his way up?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yes, I do hope so, and work your way up to it. I mean, it can be on the fly too. We don't have to start out and say we're going to force these many games, but if he swings the bat well and he's handling himself behind the plate, there's no reason. I mean, you guys know Salvi better than anybody. He just wants to win. So whatever best combination of players out there is going to help us win, he's going to be on board with that.
Do you foresee a bounce back campaign for Jonathan India next season?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, Johnson's a proven major league player that's had a down year offensively for him, but I don't see any reason to think, with his bumps and bruises healed up and being in a second year in the city and understanding the organization, I think we really think it's going to be a bounce back year.
How do you do that second base with him and Michael Massimo being there? Is it maybe more of a platoon in that situation?
Hopefully it's not a platoon. Hopefully there's at-bats for both of them. I mean, you know how we like to use the whole roster, so it doesn't have to be one guy can only play second. I mean, we have a DH spot. We can righty, lefties. Massey can obviously play in the outfield as well. So, they have to earn their at-bats, but, I don't look at it as a strict platoon at second base. I mean, he'll have an inside track to play on a regular basis. I mean, that's why we acquired him, because we really value the on base and the leadoff ability and the neutrality of the splits and all those kinds of things. So, I mean, come into the season thinking about him as an everyday player.
What do you think, what went wrong with him this year?
I mean, I think we have to shoulder a lot of that blame. I mean, early in the year we tried to play him in left. We tried to play him at third, things he had never done before, transitioning to a new organization, just the general comfort of being out of his routines, and then asking him to do it at a new position. And then, I think the new ballpark, all those things, you talk to him, he wasn't happy with the quality of his at-bats. He knew he was popping too many balls up. It wasn't that he was trying to hit homers. He just couldn't get out of that swing funk. But I think more than anything, I would attribute a lot of that to the fact that he was trying to learn two new positions in spring training and went into a first year with a new organization out of his comfort zone.
What's the latest with Chris Bubic? Is he scheduled to be back throwing again?
Yeah, he's throwing now. Yeah, I think his first bullpen's scheduled for early January, but he's throwing and everything's been great.
Matt, I know you've introduced some new voices into your hitting program.
Yeah.
And when you look at some of the top offenses last season that also had a lot of success in the playoffs, like Milwaukee, Toronto, in which contact, the ability to make contact, really was high up on their list of traits. Where do you see that just in terms of importance in the way the offense needs to be played, the way the majors are right now?
Well, we value that too. I mean, that's something we do a really good job of. I think we were right at the top, first or second in fewest strikeouts. Now, what we're trying to get out of that is it because we don't strike out, can we take a little more be a little more disciplined early in the count and not just put pitchers' pitches in play, because we have the confidence to be able to hit with 2 strikes and put the ball in play with 2 strikes. So it's just refining each guy's strike zone. But I think putting the ball in play is hugely important for a team like us in our ballpark too. That we have speed, we have guys that can run the bases. We got to put pressure on opposing defenses.
Expecting Zach Bowe to get the kind of opportunity out with the White Sox, and what did he bring to the Royals this time of year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we knew it was only a matter of time until we lost Zach to an opportunity. I mean, he did a phenomenal job for us. He's a very process-oriented guy. He's a very forward thinker. He's somebody that challenges the norms. I think he was somebody that we were lucky to get when we got him, and I think he worked really well with Brian and Mitch and moved our pitching department forward. So I'm not surprised we lost him at all. I'm disappointed that we lost him selfishly, but I'm happy for him and his family.
With guys, how big of a year are you expecting from him? How much do you feel like he can be a part of this solution for you guys on offense?
Well, we know his upside, right? We know the power, the batted ball profiles, all those kinds of things. I think he learned a lot from what he went through last year. I mean, there were things that we all wish were better, himself included, but I think there were also some positives. I always rewind to that very first series, and he gets a couple hard hit balls that are robbed from him. You just don't know how much with a young player a couple of those hits fall in and things go differently. And it went the other way. But then when he'd go back to AAA, on his rehab assignment, we saw improvement in the quality of his at-bat, and then he carried that over when he first came back up from that. So we've seen some of the bright spots that we're hopeful for, because obviously we know the power's there, we know the hard hit. So we think, we're looking for a bounce back from him as well.
You have to balance those expectations, though, and with Carter, too, like knowing they're so young.
Oh, yeah.
And then, with one different offenses trying to do this, obviously, trying to find more offense.
Yeah, I mean, we think we have a team that can win currently, and to do that, we saw the benefits of putting the Yazes and Grichiks and Fraziers in the mix there. It's not because the other guys can't do it. It's because there's going to be days where it might be better to have a day off, or it might be better to get a better matchup against somebody, and you got to produce. So you have to give yourself the cushion or the protection against ups and downs of young players.
Heading into your 4th season how do you kind of view just the team in general from your standpoint of leading them to get back to the playoffs, and what are some things you want to work on personally?
How do I view the team? I think it's an exciting team to be around. These guys, they compete, they prepare, they're good to each other. It's an easy clubhouse. These guys, they have a very common goal of understanding that we want what our end goal is to win the World Series. They understand that. They know it's not going to be easy. Personally, I think one of the things focusing on for myself and the staff is just make sure we know the players as well as we possibly can. That each guy's completely different, and how we reach one guy might not be the same as the other. So knowing them at a deeper level, and same with our staff, getting to know the staff, even though we know them well. Understanding what makes each person tick that much more, and hopefully that leads to more harmony, synergy, whatever the right word is, to help us through those tough times and get over the hump.
How's that process going with your 2 hitting coaches that you guys acquired?
Great. Yeah, they're 2 different backgrounds. Marcus has a long time playing career, coaching career. Connor's a younger guy that's moved up quickly. They both bring really interesting skill sets that complement each other and complement what Zumi does as well.
The Royals over the years have had different identities, I guess you could call them, their speed team, their pitching team, whatever. What do you think the identity of this team is?
Both of those things: pitching, defense, speed, contact, play hard, force the issue, situationally hit. So I think we want that to be our identity. Now, it's not all 13 position players have the same skill set, so we're not looking for the speed and base running out of Salvi and Vinny like we are out of Mike Kell, but the contact, the competitiveness, the relentlessness are things that we're looking for.
Yeah, do you think teams ideally would have a balance of like speed, power, etc.?
Sure.
Or, compared to, it used to be easier just to have an identity, like to be a speed team.
I don't know. I don't know how far back you want to go, but I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is, you had the Royals with Willie Wilson and those guys, but you also had guys like Steve Balboni that could hit homers and do different things. So I don't think you ever had just one type of player top to bottom. So yeah, you want a diverse way to beat other teams.
With the success of Noah Cameron last year, who are some prospects you're looking at helping your team when stuff happens?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. We have, hopefully we have a healthy year from Luinder Avila, Steven Zobak, Ben Caderna, like those guys on the pitching side. Two of those were added to the 40-man this year. Luinder, made his debut last year, pitched out of the bullpen as well. So on the pitching side, those are the few names that jump out. I mean, we had a healthy Steven Cruz, Jonathan Bolin, back up. So those are guys that are kind of either have a little bit of big league time or that have just been added to the roster. Yes, I do. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of guy that you need for some depth. And depending on what happens throughout the rest of the offseason and the spring, I mean, he's obviously shown the ability to get righties and lefties out. I think that was a great experience for him pitching out of the pen, but that's the kind of guy that early on, especially in the season, is a good guy to have as a starter.
Have you had a chance to start thinking about some protocols and how to deal with the new automated ball and strike system? And what do you think about that innovation?
We're hoping to get them all right. That's our protocol. That's what we're going to tell the guys. Yeah, I mean, we're working on it. We hope to use different technologies to have guys get more reps at it. And certainly do it in spring training. Obviously, is the live reps you're going to get, but other ways to learn the zone, whether you're catching or hitting. So yes, we're working through whether we want to have certain mandates for different leverage situations and those kinds of things, but I think you also have to trust your players.
Matt, I wanted to ask you, you grew up in the Rays organization. They just took the local manager and the Rays first baseman. What is it about this organization that develops quality people?
Well, I think they get quality people to come in. I think you help develop the person, but the people that they've hired over the years have been quality. I think there's a culture of learning. I think it's something that is promoted, and I think honestly it's very similar to what I see here in Kansas City. So that's exciting for me.
Talking about the identity of this team, do you guys target outside help, external help? Do you look for people who will fit that type of identity, or do you look for players who shake it up? Whether it's top notch or
Both. I mean, we want guys that play hard, that understand what kind of team we are, and more than anything, an understanding of who they are. Because if they're a guy that's a 30 home run guy and a strikeout guy, we certainly don't want to bring them in and tell them they need to spray the ball around the field or whatever. We want to acquire guys to do what they do well and understand how that can fit with the team. But understanding how what we value as an organization is important as well.
How much change do you see happening with the offense going into next year? The front office has been pretty clear about wanting to add some bats this offseason, but in terms of both personnel and identity, do you see a lot of changes?
I mean, I don't know how the rest of the offseason, as far as player acquisition goes, that kind of thing, I can't really say as I sit here, but I think more the things that we can control, are the processes that we have in place. Obviously, we're talking about we have 2 new assistant hitting coaches. I think their skill sets will help us evolve in our processes and make sure that our meetings are dynamic and that the information comes to life and we know how to, like I mentioned, reach each player on an individual level. That's what I think we'll see the most change from what we were doing prior, and I think understanding that these guys need to know that they all understand this, that we're going to be that competitive, relentless, selfless team that really gets after it.
You mentioned Salvi, we all know loves to play every day, but to see him go to Venezuela and play this whole season, just what does that say about his willingness to just be out there and play the game at his advanced age?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what makes him who he is. He loves the game, you know, and the passion for winter ball in Venezuela is remarkable. So now this is his first year being with Caracas, and I know that's a very big team there. You know, I work there, so I understand the dynamic there. And for a guy like Salvi to go play for a team like Caracas is as big as it gets in Venezuela. So I think that's really special, and I'm happy that he's doing it. You got any deep questions for me, buddy?
This is Terry. So when did this rivalry between the Reds and the Royals start?
Just now. Once he fired Millsy, I really amped it up. That's a wrap? All right.